Hello, everyone. It's Todd Brown with Next Action Associates. I thought it would be helpful today to reflect on the clarifying questions. So let's get into some detail of the thinking that we recommend as part of the methodology. Those of you who've been through a seminar, you've been coached, you've read the book, you'll be familiar with the clarifying questions. It's a bit of a decision tree. It's a series of questions that we suggest that you ask about things in order to determine what they mean for you, to determine how you're going to take them forward, and to determine or to enable you to get them off your mind. So as a quick review, the clarifying questions, first one is, what is it? Have I read it through? Have I understood it? Do I understand what they want from me as a result of this email, for example? Then comes the question, is it actionable? In other words, is it down to me to do something to move it forward? And if it is actionable, then I'm going to ask the question, what's the next action? What do I do to move this forward? Very physical, visible next actions are best. So for example, I need to email somebody. I need to browse the web for that. I need to talk to the boss about this. Physical and visible. Then comes the question, once I've decided my next action, can I do that in 2 minutes? If so, let's do it. Let's not. Organizing something, creating a reminder for something that you can do in 2 minutes is organization for its own sake. That's just inefficient. So let's not get in that trap. Okay, if it's 2 minutes or less, let's just do it. Then comes the question, should I delegate it? Should I give it to somebody else? And then thirdly, if I'm not going to do it in 2 minutes and it's not appropriate to delegate it, then I'm going to defer it. And at that point, I'm thinking about what reminder needs to get created in my organizational system. So, as I say, if it's actionable, that's the path we tread. And if it's not actionable, then there are three other possibilities. If it's not actionable, it's either trash, it goes away, gets deleted or shredded or whatever, or it's reference material, which means that I'm putting it away so that because I think I might want to refer to it in the future. So the key there is just, can I have it someplace in my world where it's easy to get my hands on, to find it again in the future? And the third possibility, if it's not actionable, is that it's what we call incubation. Not actionable today, possibly actionable in the future. It's an idea I'd like to be reminded about in order to decide later whether I make it actionable. So those are the clarifying questions. Again, just by way of quick review for those of you who are familiar, I'm hoping that's all ringing bells. And it occurred to me the other day that we put a lot of focus, of course, in the work that we do on applying those questions because we believe in the benefit of them. They lead to both enhanced productivity, absolutely, but also to mental clarity. Once you've done that thinking, it's very likely that you've gotten those things off your mind, in addition to setting yourself up to be, optimally productive about them in the future. But another benefit occurred to me the other day, and that's that because I'm asking those questions, it's very likely that I'm allowing my brain not to be encumbered with an awful lot of other considerations that I might have about that thing that I'm clarifying. And the sort of story from my coaching experience came up for me. It was a coaching that I did 5 or 6 years ago now with a client who had a very large project on her mind. Lots of moving parts. Boss was watching, boss's boss was watching. It's, a lot of visibility. And I could tell just as she was starting to describe it to me, I could tell that it was preying on her mind. She had a lot going on upstairs about it. And so I said to her, look, let's just start with, let me just ask you to talk about it, I said, just take a few minutes and just talk about it. And she did. And I got from her all kinds of things, big perspective, historical perspective, risks, mitigations, things that she thought she needed to do, lots of different thoughts about this project. And then I said to her, okay, let's just take that same project and let's flow it through the clarifying questions, which she then did, and she identified a good next action. Actually, in the case of that project, there were a couple of parallel next actions, as I recall, that could be that could be acted on independently. So she had 2 next actions. And then I said, yeah, and could you please also identify a project, which she did. And then it's interesting, I could see it in her body and in her face. She just relaxed about it. And she said, it's interesting, it's only because of the experience that I've had of this project and the thoughts over time that I've had about it that I've been able to come up with good next actions and a good outcome and a good project definition for it. But I do recognize that having done that, I now really don't need to have those thoughts anymore. So all of that, all of those random thoughts about that project were shut down by her experience of going through the clarifying questions. So I guess what I'd say is, yes, please do, by all means, keep in mind what we recommend in the clarifying questions. They're there for a very good reason. We have decades of experience saying that those are great questions if you're looking to make sense of the things that you've captured. But at the same time, keep in mind, the benefit, another benefit, which is, hey, by applying those questions, it indicates not only the thinking that I need to do, but also it indicates the thinking that I don't need to do. Keeping my mind free for other stuff. More fun, more productive. You tell me. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have suggestions, questions, comments about anything that we produce here at Next Action Associates, as always, very happy to hear from you. Please drop us a line or get in touch via the website or the social media channels, and I look forward to talking to you next time.